Unscripted, unfiltered, unafraid. Welcome to the Macworld Podcast. My name is Michael Simon, and I am joined by Jason Cross.
Good morning.
And our producer, Roman Loyola.
Howdy. Oops, I said howdy instead of ahoy.
That's fine.
Sorry.
You could do a different H greeting each time. Oh, that's an A greeting.
Totally threw everyone off. So, okay.
This is episode number 987. And today, as you might have guessed, is our WWDC wrap-up show. I'm sure you all watched the keynote yesterday, and we'll go through it, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we got right, what we got wrong, which is a couple of things. What we tried, how we feel, what it all means, all that stuff. We got a lot to talk about. I think we'll be able to do it in one show because, like, it's all right. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. After that, we'll do This Week in Apple History, and we'll close with our comment corner. Speaking of comments, you can contact us through Blue Sky, Facebook, Threads, search for Macworld, look for the Blue Mouse logo, send us an email at podcast@macworld.com. Comment under a video, comment under a post, send us your thoughts to our emails directly, whatever. Get in touch with us, and we'll talk about your comments on a future show. I hope do we have any WWDC ones today, Roman?
The comment corner, we have 3 comments about the new series. So
nice. See how that works? So, send us your thoughts and we'll talk about them. Okay. So no intro, no banter. Let's just get right into it. This is WWDC was yesterday, and I don't know what I was expecting exactly, but it wasn't quite what we've got. It was very different than the WWDC keynotes we've had in the past. For one, there was no like intro skit. Like usually they do something. I mean, they had like the thing with the people in the backs of the heads, but there wasn't like a skit. Like last year they had the F1 thing, and they've done the Mission Impossible stuff, and
right,
like there was none of that. 2, they didn't break it down into the sections like they usually do, iOS, macOS, etc. It was all like, here's everything, and it applies to everything.
It was sort of tiers of technology, right? Like they said, I guess they set it up at the beginning saying there was like 3 pillars. There was like trust and safety, Apple Intelligence,
and platform improvements was the other one. Yeah.
And by the way, I got to say, all right, last week I said, they're not going to.
You were 100% wrong.
So wrong. I said, they're not going to spend a lot of time talking about all the things they fix. Because that's kind of an admission that it was ever broken. They never do that. They just release something and say, this is the new best thing ever.
Right.
And they didn't have a whole section. Basically, they never used the word fix. They always called them enhancements and stuff like that. But it was an entire section just devoted to fixing all the things that everyone always complains about. And making everything run faster, like 100% wrong from what I said. Not just like a statement, but like a massive section of the thing. It was the first section too. After naming, they did that silly thing with the naming of macOS.
Roman, what did you think of that?
I thought the animation was cool.
It was cool, yeah.
So the funny thing is, there were people, we have a Slack channel to coordinate our coverage while we're doing this. And, people are offering their comments of what they see. A lot of people thought that sketch with the VW van and Craig Federighi was pretty cringe. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
It was fine.
Maybe because I'm also a big San Francisco guy. So I thought it, was a nice tribute of a way to San Francisco. So I thought it was fun.
I thought it looked neat. I thought they did a great job of capturing that yellow submarine almost kind of animation, kind of style thing. It was a little cringy, but it always is. Like we came up with a name. It wasn't that name wasn't on any one of our lists. I don't think.
No.
No.
So
And I think, Jason, you pointed out, I think, was it you, Jason, who said that they weren't going to name it, or they weren't going to follow that kind of nomenclature of like leopard, snow leopard, incremental nomenclature kind of thing?
Oh, yeah. I didn't think they probably would. I said, I don't think they'll go with Lake Tahoe after Tahoe because of they're not going to go with that, like you said, an incremental nomenclature.
Yeah.
And I also didn't think Big Bear was that was the other one people were talking about. I didn't think that was likely. But I don't think Golden Gate was really on anyone's list.
No.
So.
No.
I wonder if, Golden Gate's a pretty big, place. Like, everyone knows the Golden Gate Bridge, more so than they know Tahoe or El Capitan or whatever those other names.
Right.
So, I wonder if this kind of speaks to the, what is it? The touchscreen MacBook that's coming and like a greater change and bridging two things, or maybe they just liked it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The thought I had behind the name, and this is totally, and I know this isn't it.
It might be. Don't sell yourself short.
So, but I'm making something up that Apple could use if they want. San Francisco has built this reputation now as being kind of the AI capital of development.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of AI companies here, and a lot of basically what they presented at WWDC was AI-based features. So maybe there is a connection there.
There aren't any landmarks in Silicon Valley or anything, and they're not going to do Cupertino or something, right? So. That's sort of the landmark that is most, I guess you would say, is most associated with the AI movement right now.
Even though Apple doesn't have any development offices here in San Francisco, it's all in Cupertino.
Oh, they have nothing? There's no presence? That's interesting.
I think they have a sales office, but
or
they
like a satellite something.
I don't know if they still do, but they used to. But I don't know anymore.
I have a stupid question before this is all over. All right, two stupid questions. One, is Golden Gate a separate thing than the Golden Gate Bridge? Like, is there a Golden Gate community? There is. Okay.
Oh, there's not a community. That inlet where the ocean enters into San Francisco Bay is called the Golden Gate, and that's where the name gets its bridge. The bridge gets its name. The bridge is called the Golden Gate Bridge because it crosses the Golden Gate.
Right.
The bridge is orange. It's not gold. It's not supposed to be gold.
It's orange, right.
It was never it didn't change in the weather. Like, it wasn't gold to start. It was always,
in fact and it's continuously being painted that same shade of orange.
My other stupid question is,
I think they did that shade of orange originally because it gets so foggy that it's visible in the fog to ships and stuff. Right.
That's way
way
interesting.
back when.
My other dumb question is, what does the Golden Gate Bridge connect? Where does it go?
It connects San Francisco to Marin County. Actually,
just north of the bay.
Yeah, it was north of the Bay Bridge. That's what it connects. So
it's out on the northwesternest part of San Francisco.
Right.
Just crosses a little inlet where the sea goes into the San Francisco Bay. Right, it crosses that to the northern. There's not a lot. There's nothing famous in Marin. Marin is all rich people suburbs and marinas. Like, it's all.
It's famous for what's the movie with The Rock?
Alcatraz.
The Rock, and it was the earthquake movie with The Rock, and where the end scene is they're kind of overlooking this peninsula on the Marin side.
Right.
And they're looking at the broken up Golden Gate Bridge.
The Golden Gate Bridge is the most destroyed landmark in all of movie history, right? It's destroyed in a million movies.
Yeah. That and the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
The only thing I hate about the name Golden Gate is that it's longer than Tahoe, and it's 2 words, and you have to.
But you get to say GG. Yeah.
Yeah, the GG is nice, and I can also spell it properly. I still can't spell Sequoia on the first try.
I'll give you that. Anyway, they really kind of opened up with the whole, these are all the things we're fixing, and it's a lot of good stuff.
It's a lot. Yeah.
First of all, they had this eye chart with like to let you know that here's all the things we're fixing so much stuff. They had a a million lines of tiny text, like, and we counted about it's 260 things. But these are all things that people have wanted for a long time. They're custom EQ on AirPods, and what do you call it? Like fixing all this sort of like how long it takes to start syncing your iCloud photos and things like that. Fixing step tracking on Apple Watch, separate alarm volumes, fixing the corner radiuses on Mac OS
that
Windows,
one was pretty funny.
To be consistent.
To call out that they weren't before. Like they actually said that in the keynote.
They said it. They had a little graphic.
Corner radii.
Yeah, and stuff. But these are exactly the things that people have been complaining about forever, right?
And
it's just
aside from the visual stuff, there's a ton of like optimizations. There's a bunch of slides on the website or pages, whatever. They like apps launch 30% faster and airdrops go 80% faster. Like they upgraded a ton of stuff. Like it was shocking that the
so bad.
Like it started with basically like, all right, we like iOS 26 and macOS 26 was basically without saying it, but it's like listen, these are not up to our standards, and here's everything that we're going to do to bring it there. Yeah,
and there's so many. I mean, browsing network shares on Mac was always, you just kind of accepted that it was slow, and then they're like, no, it's 5 times faster now. Like, wait, 5 times? Right. Like there was that much room to be improved, and you waited this long. So I think a lot of people are going to love the 27 operating system updates for reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with AI or Siri.
I agree.
Like just even if you don't even touch them, they're just going to be like, oh, they gave you the thing you've wanted. They finally gave you. Trust me. You don't like that the little voice thing is in the messages app. That you can turn that off so it's never there and you never accidentally tap it. Like it just all these things.
And like dictation won't shut down your podcast if you're listening to it, if you enable something that is system like a system volume. Oh, there's a separate volume slider for alarms. Like all these things.
Yeah. All
that's literally for like 20 years people have been complaining about. It's like they collected all of them and said, all right, we fixed everything. Here you go.
It's all the things that someone always complains about on Reddit or whatever. And the people who've been using iPhones forever go like, they're never going to fix that. They just don't want to. Right. They don't think it's important, whatever. Well, guess what? This is the one where they're fixing all those things. Yeah. So I'm actually kind of impressed.
Yeah, it was surprising, impressive, and I wonder if like Tim Cook was like, all right, listen, I'm leaving in September. Like you guys got to fix everything. Like I'm not going out with any of these problems. Here's a list. Fix it.
I think it has as much to do with things like the MacBook Neo and stuff where they're like, all right, we need a lot of stuff to run on low-end hardware.
That's actually a good thought. So as far as low-end hardware, iOS 27 supports all of the same iPhones going back to the iPhone 11, which is super impressive. Yeah. I mean, you don't get any of the AI stuff or the new Siri stuff, but all of the enhancements, and I think the speed stuff, the performance stuff will be particularly noticeable on those older phones.
Yeah, some of those are really targeted at older devices. Right. So yeah, that'll be great. Yeah. I think there's a whole new thing where your phone, always after a big software update, your phone re-indexes. And you used to be able, currently you find that thing like in the battery section. Now it's top and center. As soon as you open settings, there's a big little cutout that says your phone's indexing. Performance might be a little weird. It'll run better if you plug it in for a while. But they've changed how indexing works fundamentally to be not only much, much faster once it's indexed, like to get your search results faster, but to index a lot more stuff and be more accurate and all that other kind of stuff. And I think that's going to make a huge difference on older devices once they index. So when you update and you wait 2 days for it all to finish indexing and all the other kind of stuff, I think things are going to just feel really snappy and fast.
And also like finding things quickly, like they literally said in the keynote. Like, have you ever searched for something and you can't find it, but you know it's there? It's like, well, yeah, like all the time. But I didn't think you'd actually admit that.
I know. I didn't think you would admit it. So yeah, they spend a lot of time on all that stuff, and it's exhausted. The list of the stuff that they're fixing is pretty exhaustive. It's pretty great. Nobody could look at that list and read through them all and not find at least 5 things that you don't go, oh my God, finally.
Right.
I'm
so Jason, you've messed around with the beta for a couple, I don't know, 12 hours or so. Like anything, like, is it, can you know, I know it's the first beta and it's, there's still a ways to go, but
developer
can you
beta one's always the wonkiest.
Of course.
It is, and I'm not the type to get caught up in like a psychological feeling of like, oh, it's fast. I can tell it's faster. I can tell it's faster. Like there's certain things that are snappy, like swiping between home screen pages, stuff like that. Certain apps are definitely launching faster or or loading their content faster. You definitely feel some of those things being snappier, and some of it might just be like literally they're making the animations shorter so they feel faster, and some of them might be like things are actually better optimized and running faster. Right. But certain things feel real more immediate. Swiping up to unlock, like that. If your phone's unlocked and you swipe up from your lock screen to the home screen, like that's just like. That's almost instant. There's almost no transition there. It's just okay. There's also because it's beta 1. There's a lot of beta 1 wonkiness where things kind of hitch or get caught up, or just fail to load for a while, just because things aren't. That's just typical beta or like early beta stuff.
Is this an iPhone 17 you're using?
Yeah, you can feel the performance being there.
So, and that's on a new phone. Imagine if you had a 14 or 15,
Yeah.
This is all good stuff and stuff we've wanted. I mean, I can think back to like the iPhone 7, 8. Like people wanted like these things to be fixed. So that was like a breath of fresh air from the beginning. As a journalist, it was hard to digest it all because they just fired a bunch of stuff at you like immediately. Yeah. And like it was like we were waiting. Like, okay, you're doing iOS, you're doing macOS, and all of a sudden, like, all right, here's 700 changes to everything.
Some of them are very specific to like Apple Watch, and some are just on all the platforms, and they kept that throughout the thing. They didn't break it down by macOS. It was iPad OS. So every now and then they'd say, and on iPad, it does this, but for the most part. There were some things that were particular to the Mac, for example, but they went through tranches of things. And the second one was with the trust and safety thing. And that was kind of boring us all because it's important stuff, but it's boring stuff. They're sitting there talking about parental controls for a long time. And we're like,
it was lengthy. Yeah.
You talked about our Slack chat and multiple people in our Slack were going, if they're talking this much about this, they don't have that much to announce. Because they hadn't gotten to any of the AI stuff or anything. So we're like, man, they must not have much or they wouldn't be spending this much time on parental controls.
They, so parental controls, that was the crux of the trust and safety stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to 2 things. One, the screen time stuff hasn't been good since it launched. My son is older now. He's 14, but back when he was like 9 or 8 and whatever, he had an iPad.
Yeah.
And I tried, and I'm pretty good at this stuff. Like I tried my best to set up screen time and it was always wrong. He would get locked out at the wrong time. This wouldn't open. That did open. I didn't want it to. Like it wasn't easy. It wasn't intuitive and it wasn't smart. And like there was bugs in it and stuff. Like it just wasn't great. So this looks like they're fixing all that.
Yeah. The basic rundown of it is there's like a new setup for parents with new scheduling. Yeah. So it's easier for you to say, well, during days of the week, this, during weekends, that, at this time of day, these things, at this other time of the day, allow this other stuff. There's the major new feature was different time allowances for different categories of thing. So like entertainment, games, and social media, you can have different amounts of time allowed for these things. And then And the final thing was they've had for a while now, if your kid wants to download an app, they have to ask, and you get a message for asking for permission. They're extending that to websites, so that
was another thing that never worked for me.
Yeah. Oh, like the website permissions thing?
Any of it. Like the asking. Like one day it just stopped, and I can never figure out how to get it to work. So I would have to go to it wouldn't let him download it. It just wouldn't ask me. So I would have to go to his thing and type in the password and let it work.
Yikes.
But
so hopefully all that works now. But they're extending it, and they're putting more emphasis on the idea that like it should grow and change over time. It should start off really restrictive, and then as they get older or as they just get used to it, you can add more things and steadily over time. And there's a lot of suggestions for what's okay and all that kind of stuff. Yep. All this is good. I think a lot of this has to do, not only does it need an overhaul, but across the world in every region, there's been a lot more focus on age verification and all this other kind of stuff. Like, and putting the onus on platform owners like Apple and Google and Microsoft and so on, instead of putting the onus on all the app developers and websites and stuff like that to verify age and all that. So this all falls in that area where it's like, look, no, we're doing everything we can to protect kids, to empower parents, et cetera. So it's all good stuff. But as a person without kids, I was just kind of like, good. I can catch up on my notes.
Catch up. Well, that's what we used to use the onstage demos to do, but they don't do those anymore. So there's like no breathing room anymore in these events. I found the parental stuff interesting in light of the MacBook Neo, and I wonder if it speaks to this influx of younger people to the platform, and not just the iPad anymore. And now it's, they're like entering the Apple ecosystem from the Mac, from the iPad, and from the iPhone 17e, which is also relatively new. And at a younger age, and parents are, calling or emailing or however you get in touch with Apple and be like, listen, like this, like I need to do this and I can't. Or schools, like we just bought, 50,000 MacBook Neos.
Yeah.
And we need to set all these times and shut these apps off and shut down stuff. And
none of these tools are for tools like big schools and stuff. They use a mobile device manager that is very much like what enterprise stuff do.
Okay. If they supply them themselves, you're right. But if like a kid's bringing a MacBook Neo to school, they're going to need to, or the parents or the teachers or whoever sets this stuff up is going to have to manage it themselves. But it was interesting in the context of these cheaper devices that are coming out or have come out over the last, 18 months or so. It's all good stuff, but as Jason said, like it's, for one, it was a little boring, but for two, like it's just stuff that they shouldn't be forced to do. Like this is all things that they should be, like kids using your products need a different set of rules than the adults using your products, and the adults using your products need to be easily able to set those up for their kids. And I think the prior screen time was just too difficult. And most adults probably said, screw it. I'll just take away the iPad if I see him doing something bad or if I don't want him to use it anymore, which isn't so easy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just didn't use screen time. I kind of want like a screen time for adults kind of a thing. Like, of course you can just set it up. You can just have your partner know the password or something. But I think there's a lot of adults who just need better tools to help you focus and say, like, I shouldn't be allowed to be distracted by social media or by these web pages or whatever when I'm trying to work on something. Like it would be nice if you could say, hey, for the next hour, just be productive. I need productive
I think you
time.
Can with like focus modes and stuff. You have to like do it.
It's going to take you an hour to set up like what you can do, because you need to like allow only certain web pages, and it's going to change from project to project. This is one of those things that's really complicated because it's harder to do it for adults, where it's not like age content based. It's it's based on, is this screwing around or is this me researching, doing work, writing, whatever. But they definitely better tools to allow people to focus and not be distracted. Because focus modes, I don't know anyone who uses them. Number one,
I only use Do Not Disturb. That's it. I turn it on and I turn it off.
Mine goes on automatically a certain time of night just to stop texts from coming in from family members at different time zones and whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it. And I think that's what most people do. And I'm sure we're going to hear from somebody who has all these great focus modes and stuff, but I don't think a lot of people use them. And people I know who have iPhones and stuff kind of don't know they exist.
Yeah, there's that too.
It's like the control center. It's like, what was this? So.
So yeah, that was, pretty lengthy. And then they got into the big section, which was like the last 45 minutes, which was Siri and Apple Intelligence, which is what everyone's been waiting for and everyone knew would be the crux of the show.
Yeah. And I feel like there's kind of two, they're overlapping, but there's one which is just like, here's Apple Intelligence as a base AI thing and some AI tools and how they apply to all these other apps. And then there was also, and here's new Siri. Like, here's how we apply all this AI stuff to Siri, and it makes a new Siri for us.
Which is called Siri AI, which...
Yeah, which I hate. Okay. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's not really Apple's, like that. That's not Apple's, clever branding. It's just, okay.
Yeah. People are just going to call it Siri still, but...
Well, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, the new Siri, as we had heard in the rumors, different animation when you open it. It lives in the dynamic island now, so it has this like cool little travel-y orby thing that expands. Is like a little spinny series of circles to let you know that it's thinking.
Yep.
And the things that they showed were pretty slick. A lot of them are things. Much of it was stuff that they had already demoed in some capacity a couple of years ago, the contextual stuff, the personal stuff. But the things that they went through yesterday they were like legitimately useful. Like like my son emailed me or texted me last month about a pair of sneakers that he likes. Can you find them? Tell me where to buy them and let me know how much they cost. And it could do all that, without needing any prompting.
Right. Other than like your voice, you did that prompt. You don't have to stare and repeatedly like ask it a bunch of different things. Yeah, and it's going to be it's going to keep track of all of your past conversations, so you can go back and look at them, and all the things you do with other AI agents today. They didn't cover very much the whole thing where there's all these app intents to let you do stuff within apps. But that was in the platform State of the Union bit. Right. So that stuff is in there. They just didn't really kind of talk about it or demo it. So I'll be curious to see what happens once apps roll out with these updates that allow the Siri to hook into them more and like do something in an app. Yeah,
right. It'll be similar in the sense that you'll ask it to do something in this app and it'll just be able to do that.
Yep. Yeah. So, but that could be huge, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, the whole thing seemed to be like a lot better than A, what it is, and B, what it was. And this is good because it's 2 years later, it should be. But it seems to be genuinely intelligent. Now, before we get too far, I have to ask, because you're smart about these things. The whole Gemini bit.
Okay.
Like, I know Google and Apple partnered to use the Gemini foundation, but Apple kept saying it's its own, like, this is our own foundation models.
Yes.
And they kind of stopped short of saying that Google's not involved, but they also basically said this is our stuff. So give me like the quick little Reader's Digest version of like what's happening with Gemini and Apple Intelligence and these foundation models.
Google just calls like everything Gemini, but Gemini is there's like 4 foundation models in the world. Like all these other AI things you think are based on Anthropic's, foundation model, or OpenAI's foundation model, or Google's foundation model, or Meta's foundation model, right? And there's bigger and smaller versions of them and stuff. But they're all based on those things. And it's kind of like having a Linux-based operating system, right? Or something. Or the way that macOS is based on Unix, but it's not Unix. You can't just run any Unix app. You can run some, depending on what they use and stuff like that. But it doesn't look like Unix, and you can't just grab Unix and run any Mac app. Like, they're different. It's based on, right? But Apple does a ton of work, all the way down to the low level of the operating system, to do all their own custom stuff and support their own hardware and do all this other things. So it's the similar sort of thing. They took Google's foundation model, like the underlying neural network and weights and training and all that other stuff that made Gemini what it is, that is used for all kinds of different modalities and all kinds of different tools that Google uses with Gemini. And they used that and then built their own foundation model from that. The same way that they built Mac OS, it was OS 10 originally, from Unix, right? Like it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's the same thing with just like a different coat of paint on it, or it's Gemini, but with Siri voice, right? Like they made a lot of their own stuff on top of it. That's just their starting point, because it's a very hard starting point to get. You have to absorb an insane amount of data. You have to, the training alone. First of all, it's difficult. There's very few companies in the world that can do it at a high level, but it costs billions and billions of dollars and months and months of time, and it's extremely difficult. So that's where they started, and then they did a bunch of their own stuff to make this new Apple Foundation model.
So when Apple has a machine learning research website, and yesterday they published as introducing the third generation of Apple's foundation models. I apologize to anyone that this is boring, but it's like it's important to understand like the foundation of this stuff, because we're going to be using this forever. So Apple says, at the heart of this architecture, which is the Apple Intelligence Architecture, is our third generation of Apple foundation models, a family of 5 foundation models custom built in collaboration with Google. So what does Google supply? So I don't even know what Unix is, but that's a whole nother show.
or Linux or something like that.
Or Linux, I understand. I don't know.
Let me. No, I can't give you.
I'm putting Jason on the spot here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a quicker, even simpler way to explain it than just like, this is a Unix-based operating system, but it's not Unix. It's its own thing. Like I'm trying to find an even simpler way to say, like a car analogy or something. I'm trying to figure out like. Or
how about like?
I don't know enough about.
Let me give you a metaphor. Maybe it works. Like if I'm cooking, I'm cooking a steak.
Yes.
And I have 5 restaurants and they all get the same cut of steak. But I go to each restaurant and it tastes different because there's different spices, the different cooking process, there's different. Is that kind of like, am I in the ballpark here? Or would it be like the same cow?
It's more like the same cow or the same, cut of beef, but that's, I don't think that analogy necessarily works really well. It's more like if you have like a car that's a Toyota, but it's built in collaboration with Honda, and it's because Honda supplied like this valve timing technology or whatever. And, you have those kind of things in the car industry where you have like these sort of cross brand things. It's more like that kind of thing. Like, Google supplied a lot of the, if you don't understand the difference between like the AI that you interact with, the chat bot you talk to, and the foundation model that is powering it, then it is hard to explain that like, no, they took this foundation model and then they enhanced and modified and built their own custom version starting from that. They
call it their own. They keep saying our latest foundation model.
It's their latest. It's not the same as Gemini. It's not. You won't get the same answers. You won't get the same.
Okay.
Because
how come they couldn't do it
when you
themselves?
Talk to Gemini as a chatbot, that's not the Gemini foundation model. The Gemini foundation model.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah. It's like having 6 completely different cars that use the same chassis. Like, it's like, yeah, but this one's a compact SUV and has a V6, and this one's like a sports car with a V8. And this one's a little, but they all use the same transmission or something. That's not, right. It's that kind of thing. It's like there's layer the interaction layer that you interact with, whether you're editing a photo or generating an image or video or talking to it, is not the whole of what the back end foundation model is. And it's hard to describe it any better than that without going into
boring the audience.
Well, boring the audience and just going into stuff that it was the best explanation really is that just you can have Linux or Unix as the foundation for an operating system, but they're completely different operating systems. They're different interfaces that run on different hardware and have support different apps and all this other stuff, but they're all Linux based because Linux is the core file manager, or it's the foundation of how applications talk to the CPU scheduler. Yeah, that kind of stuff, right? So there's layers of technology. The very bottom layer of the technology is one that they started with what Google had and built a lot of their own stuff on top of it and changed it, modified it, and made their own thing. I think it does all mostly running on Google's servers, but it's Apple's stuff running on Google's servers, right? It's Apple's own.
Well, it says
instances, right? So it's still private cloud compute. Apple's still in control of, it's not, Google's not sucking up all your data, just because it's running on their hardware.
That's that bit that we heard about NVIDIA GPUs. So they mentioned that. They say, finally, we optimize each model for its target hardware. AFM, which is Apple Foundation Model, 3-core. AFM 3 and all the other ones, is 5 of them, were optimized to run efficiently on Apple Silicon, which is the devices that we have.
Right.
While AFM 3 Cloud Pro, which is the cloud stuff, was optimized for NVIDIA GPUs using quantization-aware training. We compressed our model substantially, blah, 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 blah. So they recognize the bits that are going on. But even in post-keynote interviews, they were very adamant that this isn't Google.
Right.
This
and
is
it's not
our stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. If you've ever used a service that uses Google Maps data, but is a totally different map, it doesn't look or act like Google Map. It's very common.
Didn't Apple Maps do that for a while, or no?
No, that was just straight up Google Maps.
That was Google Maps. You're right.
Yeah. Well, okay. and what was, they had Google Maps, and then when they made Apple Maps, that was Open Maps and several other layers all cobbled together, and I don't want to talk about. But if you've ever used one that was it's custom made for something else, like Fisherman or something like that, and it doesn't even look like Google Maps. It doesn't have any of the buttons Google Maps has. It doesn't do car navigation or have any of the features. It doesn't have any of the business names, and it does have all these other layers like water depth and where fish are found, stuff like that. But they're using Google's Map Foundation layer, right? And a bunch of other development work on top of that. It's that kind of thing. If you've ever used something like that, where you're like, where did they get a whole globe worth of map data? They didn't. They're licensing Google's, and then they're building their own mapping product on top of it. So it's that kind of thing. It's a very similar sort of thing.
Okay. This stuff makes my head spin. It's so confusing to me that there's all these, not all, but there's several competing AI companies, all with different foundation models, and they all do different things, yet they all kind of do the same thing. For example, the image cleanup tool got a massive overhaul in the new, and if you look on social media, people are comparing it to Samsung. They have their latest phone. It does the same thing. Previously, it was awful on iPhones. You would like, they do that thing where they put someone like a hand in front of someone's face and they see like how it, like a real extreme example.
Yeah.
And the Apple one would be like all distorted and twisted and look all Frankenstein. It was terrible. Now, people tried it out in the beta and they compared it to a Samsung phone, and it's really good. Like really good.
It is. Yeah.
And people are saying like, well, big deal. They're both using Gemini. And that's where I think the disconnect comes, because I think Samsung actually is using Gemini.
Yeah.
Like I think like that's straight up Gemini. But on the Apple side, they I'm pretty sure that they just have Gemini built into their phone. Like even the chat is Gemini. I don't think they have their own anymore.
I think it's the exact same situation where like Google's Gemini foundation model, upon which all these other tools for Google and other people are built, is multimodal, and it does a lot of things like create, like fill in image stuff and extend them and stuff like that. And so Apple took that technology and a lot of their own research, and you can go, like you said, there's that research page where they've been doing a ton of research into like various image generation things, and did their own sort of modifications, and they probably have all their own stuff in there built around trust and safety that's different than what Apple's than what Google's is. So yeah, based on Gemini, right? Like that's the starting point, and then they do a bunch of other stuff too. And they changed some things, right? So you're not going to get identical results. If you took the exact same image with the exact same pieces missing, and then
which is what people are doing, of course.
You uploaded it to Gemini on the web and said like, remove the hand, whatever, and you did the same thing with Apple's, you were not going to get like a pixel to pixel same like result. You might get kind of similar results, like in terms of overall quality, but they're not going to do the exact same thing all the time.
But the leap from terrible to good,
is
Gemini. Like the initial.
Yeah, I have no idea
Apple
where
refines it into them.
Sure, I guess you could say it has to be because that's what they're using. But I don't know where Apple was on all their research. I don't know what they would have if they didn't license somebody's. I don't know what they would have released.
Okay. All right, let's talk about something fun, because that was boring. But thank you for indulging me, audience, because I'm super interested in this stuff, and like I don't spend a lot of time.
It's really hard to explain.
Yeah,
if you kind of don't understand kind of the foundations of how things work under the scenes for a lot of stuff. It's like you have to explain it. You have to build on a lot of knowledge about a lot of other stuff. It's tricky. I'm not surprised people are confused about it.
Yeah, especially when Apple has this big announcement that we're partnering with Google. It made it seem like, we're just taking all their stuff and shoving it into an iPhone because we can't do it ourselves. But that's not really the case.
Right.
All right, let's talk about something fun. What's your favorite new feature that you've tried out in the last 12 hours?
There's so much I haven't tried out because there's a lot of little things and I haven't had much time. Like most of the time my phone's been sitting there with the beta on it while I work on other things. Like it's just like, it'd be fun to play with these new things, but I have content to produce. So there's not a lot. I have tried to clean up on a few things and it's slower, but also a lot better.
It is slow. In the videos I've seen of it, it takes a bit of time.
It takes a bit of time, but the quality is much better. And so is that thing where you can change the angle of your photo and stuff like that.
Yes.
That works surprisingly well, but it is limited. Like you can't drastically change the angle of the camera or whatever, but you can get a different framing a little bit, and it looks surprisingly good and works surprisingly well. I've already found some errors where it'll when you're doing the extend and it's filling in extra space, like it'll fill in something that was like a detail in the part that was there, and it's like, well, that shouldn't be out there. Like you get the same sort of weird like hallucinations or whatever, but it's a million times better than what they had. It's a little early to start judging Siri based on like its quality. You obviously get a lot more answers and a lot more detail and knows a lot more about a lot more things, has a lot more world knowledge and stuff. But it's also kind of, I don't want to say broken right now, but there's been times where it's just thought for 30 seconds and then never answered and stuff. It's like, what's day 2 of developer beta 1? I mean, they're going to have these kind of problems. I haven't done a whole lot of testing of things like timers and smart home and all these other really local things that you just expect to be fast and instant. That's kind of next on my plate. So I need to see how well it handles the idea of like, well, don't go online for this. That's too slow. Just, do you recognize that I'm asking something and be really quick? I love the new Siri voice. I think it sounds awesome.
Oh, good.
It sounds
Have you
very
messed around
like,
with those sliders, the expressivity and the pace and stuff to make it talk slower and faster?
In the first beta, that interface exists, but it's all great. First of all, it only has 2 voice options, and the video they showed 5 or something. And the sliders are grayed out, so you can't adjust it yet. But you can see that interface there. But it's just it understands when to emphasize a word or how to make a question sound like a question, and it just has much more human sounding like emphasis on things and stuff. So it's really good. I have a million questions about like, is my HomePod just a brick now? Like, is this? Why can't my HomePod do this? Like, just go online for it. But like, I don't know. If this is on Apple Watch, why isn't this on my HomePod?
It's not. So I decided at some point we're not going to get to Apple Watch. So next week's show will be devoted to Apple Watch. But Apple cut off like a ton of models from this update. So there's a lot of Apple Watches that don't get this stuff.
Yeah, from WatchOS 27 at all. Yeah, much less the Siri stuff. But a modern Apple Watch does have like a 9 and up. But
there's no
OS.
There's no modern HomePod. Like the most recent one was released like 3 years ago. Like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but do they have an S9 in it? What do they have in them? I forget.
I don't think so. I think it was an 8. I forget what a 7 or an 8. Roman, can you look that up? The second gen HomePod, what chip is inside that thing? I don't think it's a 9 because I think it was in 2022. That was even older. That was like 6 years ago at this point. Yeah. So that might have been like an S4 or something. Yeah. A couple of features that I haven't installed the beta because I haven't had time, but that I'm looking forward to trying is that Safari Notify Me feature. You have no idea how many times I'll have a web page open because there's some, I don't know, Topps has like a baseball card release or something, or there's tickets or something, and I'm constantly refreshing. So this will let you know, hey, this web page updated. Go do the thing that you wanted to do.
I haven't tried it, but the interface for it is that when you queue it off, first you tell it using natural language, like what change are you looking for? Like when this is in stock or whatever it is. And then you give it an interval for how often to check. In their video example, it said every day at 8. I don't know how often you can make it check. Can you make it check every hour, every 5 minutes?
5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are people who want it to check every 5 minutes. But yeah,
maybe even 10 seconds, depending on how often, how quickly this thing's coming. Like the thing you want is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how often you would want it to go. I don't think that they'll probably go down to 10 seconds in the interface, but I don't think they'll do a minute. But as long as it can check every, few minutes or something like that. Yeah, that's awesome. You can do that. Close the tab and just amazing. Wait for the notification to come in.
Yeah.
I also haven't tried. I thought it was really cool. Like, just describe a browser.
The extension.
And we'll make it. Like, how cool.
Right. Same thing with shortcuts. That whole thing about just forget about like if this then that and check. Just tell us what you want to do and we'll do it. That is, if that works the way it looks like it works, that's incredible.
Yeah. All right, Roman, I think you have our answer about the HomePod.
Yeah, so the HomePod Mini has a S5 chip.
Oh,
yeah, it's too old.
And the HomePod, the second generation, has an S7.
chip.
Yes. So we best as we can tell is the S9 and later.
And they both have 1 gigabyte of built-in memory, which I don't know if that's an issue, but it seems like it could be. So
it could be.
Yeah, I mean, and none of the Apple Watches have a lot of memory, but they're not running all. They're basically just running the command processor. They talked about this where there's like a Siri thing that just says like, well, where does this go? Does this happen on the device? Does this happen in the cloud? Like what, something has to decide like as you're talking, and it just runs that. Right.
Right.
Still,
but I think you need a neural engine, which the S8 chip and previous or a better neural engine or something didn't have.
Yeah. So I'm kind of disappointed that they don't just, there's not some way they can just say, all right, well, if you have an old HomePod, all your Siri requests are just going to go to the cloud from now on. Like, I mean, I guess that would make things like adjusting your lights and stuff take longer, but there's got to be a way. It's disappointing to me that this thing is, I was hoping some software would make my HomePod good, and it looks like it's going to be like, no, you're going to have to buy a new HomePod.
Hey, they didn't even, like, there's nothing as far as we could tell that's coming to HomePod.
Yeah, they didn't announce anything, but I'm sure.
Yeah. Apple TV or tvOS barely got a mention. There's a couple of small things, but there's nothing for HomePod. Things.
No, and I think they'll announce a new HomePod later this year when this stuff is about to come out and say, and it supports Siri AI,
The another feature in the Passwords app. So like this is like a weird thing with me. Like I feel guilty whenever it tells me that there's a compromised password and I don't change it. I know I should, but I can't be bothered. Like I don't think there's no data leak. Like nobody has my password. But the reality is, if they tell you that yes, it has, somebody somewhere has your password, and there's a possibility that password could be used to break into or to hack.
It's being data brokered all over the place. Right. Like it's in a list that they found. That's why you're getting that.
Right. And they always tell you, all the password managers, not just passwords, they're like, hey, there's 712 compromised passwords. You should change them. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm not doing that.
Does yours say 712?
No, it doesn't. No, I'm making up a number.
How often do you reuse a password?
But so what the new Passwords app with AI will do, it's not only will it tell you, it'll offer to fix them, which seems incredible to me. So they will literally go to the site, plug in your old password, plug in a new password, change it, go through the steps, and then save it back to your Passwords app. So the next time you go, you just log in seamlessly with the new password that's now nicely secure. Yeah. With that having, that's incredible.
It'll be one of their suggested secure passwords, which is like a long string of gobbledygook. But
as long as it's saved and I don't have to remember it, go ahead, make it as long and gobbledygooky as you want.
Because they slipped in a little like unsupported websites or unsupported services or something like that. So I get the feeling that there's going to be a lot like you. I think modern sites have to kind of update to more modern credentials management for this kind of thing to even work. To get like requests from passwords and stuff. So I think if there's services that are modern and support things like passkeys and stuff like that, those will probably work. Things like my bank site, which is kind of old, like their credentials management. Like if my password's compromised and I said change it, I got $100 that says I'll get a little pop up that says you have to go to the website to do that. Click here, go ahead and change it. I don't
Jason's
think that
throwing cold water in my dreams now.
I
just wanted to press a button.
If I could just hit a button. But I think what it's going to be is it's going to say like you have 28 passwords that are compromised, and you're going to say fix them all, and it's going to go. We could fix these 12, and all these other ones you've got to go to the site and do. And it's like, well, hey, cool, it fixed the ones it could, and I'm happy for this. But yeah, I don't know to what degree it's able to automate this on most websites. I'm skeptical.
Wait, hold on. I want to look to see now how many I have. So that can't be right. Some of
If
these
you
must be
reuse
duplicate.
passwords, it's totally right. What is it?
It literally says I have 500 websites or logins that are.
Wow. That are
Some of them must be. Well, some of
No.
them, I'm going through them. Some of them are like the same, listed 5 different times.
Oh, well, still, that's still not good.
Some of them are things I don't even know what the hell they are. Wait, hold on. We got to. We have to end the show because I have to go fix my my passwords. All right, I'm going to close this and pretend I didn't look at it because that's upsetting. Like I told you, I do. I have like password guilt. Is that a thing?
Yeah, totally is. I popped up the password app, and then you go into security, and it has recommendations,
right,
and that's
I'm gonna do
compromised stuff. But it's also things like this is too easy to guess,
Right. That's
or you reused it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these are just old things that I don't.
How many do you have? What's your number?
Anymore. So it says 124 recommendations, but that includes a lot that say reuse passwords, and they're things like I don't have buffer anymore. I don't have that's my old Disney Plus. Like I have a new Disney Plus that has its own real password.
That's what I saw a lot of too. Like things that I updated, but I didn't update the login, so I have 2 now.
Right, and or some of these. So some of these are that like TiVo.
Yeah,
For God's sake, TiVo doesn't.
Many.
TiVo doesn't exist.
Roman,
That's a
can you look
password.
at your passwords app? How many compromised passwords do you have? Somebody must have more than me. If there's a listener that has more than 500 recommendations, please let me know so I don't feel so bad.
But I'm just scrolling through here. Things that say compromised or password it looks like there's about or compromised or easy guessed, which those are the red text. It looks like there's 15 or so, and at the top it says automatically fix 7 passwords.
Okay, so that's about.
So I have 124 recommendations. It looks like 15 or so are the red text things that are either compromised or easily guessed, and it says automatically fix 7. And I'm not going to hit the button, but to see what happens. But
well, at some point do that because I want to know.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm not going to do it while we're recording the podcast.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm glad that that it has that, and I'd be happy to have it fix the ones it can fix, the 7 it can fix. But I'm not going to go try and fix my TiVo password because TiVo doesn't exist anymore. And I don't care that that's found in some. I kind of wanted to just go like, oh, just delete this entry, man.
I wonder. Well, I wonder. Like, so theoretically, you should be able to. Maybe not. Like, could you say, hey? Go through my passwords app, find websites that are defunct and delete those logins. Like would it be able to do that?
I don't know that there's any kind of interface to do that. I don't think you can just ask Siri to do that. I don't think Siri just will delete passwords from your password app for you. Like even if it could check all those websites, but yeah, I would love for it to do that. I also needed to dedupe my Apple Music playlist. It's
well, that feels like something
that's a whole other
would
thing.
absolutely.
It feels like
be able
something
to do.
that they should fix, but that they should do. But yeah, sometimes because I'll like a song and it's like, oh wait, you already liked this song where it appeared on another album, and this is the 20th anniversary deluxe version of that album.
Oh,
so now you have the song twice in your liked things, and it's messing it up. And they just
Apple Music looks really nice on iOS 27. They have like these like really elaborate artist pages. They're it's
artist
nice.
pages, playlist pages. We can update it.
Yeah. One more quick thing. Felipe Esposito's writing a story about this. There's a little feature. So when you copy and paste something, say you were in Notes and you copy something and you go to another app, that little copied bit of text will appear above your keyboard like a suggested text thing. So you don't have to press and hold and paste. Like it's right there. That's a little quality of life improvement. That's nice.
There's a bunch of little quality of life improvements like that. I have noticed, I don't want to say autocorrect is better. I haven't typed enough to know that. I will say the suggested words that appear, that's what you're talking about, like in the suggested word things above the thing. The suggestions are better and appear faster. That's one of those things that I think it's in the hundreds of quality of life improvements they're making that people will notice, I'm getting better word suggestions that are appearing more quickly. So if you're the type who starts typing a few letters and then you always tap one of the suggested words above your keyboard, you're going to probably find the keyboard is a lot faster for you now than it used to be.
Good. Yeah. I know autocorrect is an issue, and I do have issues, but I think it's not bad. Like it gets I don't hate it as much as no, I know, and it's funny because I'll liberally criticize Apple for things, but for whatever reason, like I feel like it's gotten better for me on iOS 26, where the things that I used to type before. Like, for example, my son's name. So my son's name is Gabriel. And I obviously, when I write people or him, I'll say Gabe. And it used to always switch to Gave, Gave.
I see.
And it'd drive me nuts. And it doesn't do that anymore.
Right.
Over the last, I don't know, 3 months or something.
Does it ever do the other thing where you start typing Gave and it tries to give you Gabe now that you it thinks that all the time?
That's a good, I don't know.
Like you just switch one problem for another?
That's funny. I don't know because I don't know how many times I typed the word Gave.
Find out. Yeah, I don't know. All I know is a lot of people complain that autocorrect is bad. And
yeah, I know. And we've written
like,
articles about it. Yeah.
Then like years and years ago, it was better. Maybe our expectations are just higher. I don't know. Maybe. I haven't used the keyboard enough to do this. And I use the swipe keyboard a lot, which I recognize has got its own set of complications and problems and stuff. So, but
I never use that thing. I should, but I don't. Yeah. I still do the type thing. Roman, anything? We're way over, so it doesn't even matter anymore. Anything in Mac OS that you want to call out before we move on?
I haven't had a chance to. I installed it, but I haven't had a chance to use it because I was writing stuff.
Come on, you had a whole 12 hours. What's the matter?
Well, I had a whole 12 hours. I spent a couple of that writing a compatibility list. That's crazy.
What'd you do? Sleep or something? Come on.
Well, and then I watched the basketball game last night instead of playing. But I did get.
I'm going to blame Wemby for your lack of production.
So I got on the wait list for Siri, and online people are saying it took them a few minutes to a couple hours. I checked this morning; I'm still on the wait list. So I don't know what's going on.
How long were you on your wait list, Jason?
A few hours. I would say probably 3 or 4 hours.
Can you like, Roman?
I installed the beta the instant it came out. So yeah. And once you're through on all your devices. I also noticed it's your Apple ID is whitelisted. So, yeah.
I wonder
restart your Mac, Roman? Yeah, I don't know. But
or did they give priority to the iPhone or iOS 27?
Maybe.
And Mac OS 26? Is that possible?
Possibly. And then when you first load up the beta, the first thing you see is a slider screen to adjust liquid glass.
Yep.
I couldn't tell a difference on the slider.
Oh.
And I couldn't tell if it was because I just couldn't tell a difference or they hadn't implemented the differences yet.
I hadn't seen it on Mac, but on iPhone, it's the same thing. You get a thing.
Yeah.
It shows the liquid glass interface. You may not have noticed this on Mac, but it's an interface over text and images. That text and images can be scrolled. So you can see what it looks like as it moves under the interface. And I kind of had to do that to see the difference between the sliders. It became really obvious once I started moving stuff under it. I was like, oh yeah, though this one's really opaque. It's almost impossible to see through. And this one's like really clear.
Okay. Yeah. The window, I took a screenshot. The window isn't clear that you can scroll it.
It wasn't clear on the iPhone either, but like when I touched it and moved, I was like, oh, it moves. Okay. I
should have done that.
Well, that helps a lot.
Well, the problem is I clicked continue and then I couldn't get the window to come back.
It's got to be in settings somewhere.
It's got to be in settings.
I didn't poke around enough because I was too busy doing other
That would be the most Apple thing ever, to have a liquid glass slider that doesn't change anything, but it just gives you the placebo effect that it's different.
Right. That's great. Yeah.
But I'll need to take a closer look at that. And
All right. I look forward to your thing. I saw that the menu bar now has like the little arrow thing that it like. So if you have too many menu bar icons forever, like they would just basically pick a couple to disappear on you. And now you can click a little arrow. Like there's a bunch of like small little Mac utilities that just got put out of business.
Yep.
But
are you happy with the new icons, Roman?
I didn't take a good look at the icons. I barely spent any time after with the beta, so I didn't get a chance to look at it. Although, from what I can tell from what they demoed on screen, the thing is, it's still the squares. So that's I wish developers were allowed to basically go back to what we used to have, and you didn't have to be refined, or confined to just a square. So yeah.
I thought for a moment when they were showing that animation, the things coming in, like, oh look, we're gonna get. No. They still always
everything's still it fits in the squircle, but it's just now got more sort of depth and colors, right. So it's to be more distinct. So now everything's just the flat.
Yeah. Depending on how big you like to display your icons, you may not be able to notice them. I don't know that for sure. It was just something that ran through my head. Because a lot of people, if I'm in list view, I won't even really notice them. So we'll see. I'll take a look.
I've seen like comparisons online, and they're not that different. Some of them are more obvious than others, depending on the layers that are overlapping. But they're fine. I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about icons. But Roman, are you upset you didn't get back the Launchpad icon?
No, I've kind of. Well, I'm going to have to turn to a third party, essentially, app for that. So. That's never coming back, I don't think. I think they just get rid of the apps app. So get rid of it.
All right, we should move on, or we're never gonna wrap up this. But episode.
Wait, we gotta just address this one last thing because so it was Tim Cook's last WWDC. He gave a bit of a emotional farewell at the end. Like you can tell that, it was his last little thing. Like I don't think we'll ever see him on a keynote again. But what was most surprising is that John Turnus was nowhere.
Yeah,
he didn't make a single appearance in the whole show. Yeah,
and that may have to do with the kind of show that it is. Like they didn't want to make him. He's not CEO yet. He's not going to take the CEO role, and they don't do any hardware. So like on a normal year, they wouldn't have John Turnus at any of these WWDC things. And so maybe and we see all the Craig Federighi in the world because software is his thing, right?
Man, there was so much Craig Federighi.
Yeah.
It really made me happy that he's not CEO.
But you're just like, yeah.
It made me understand why he's not CEO. He's just too much of a character to be CEO of Apple. I think he's great for what he is. He has a fantastic personality. Seems to be very affable and likable, but man, he's not a CEO.
I feel like he's this is his show because this show's all about software, and software is what he's in charge of. So. Yeah, he's in charge of the OSs. He's going to be in this show a lot. But yeah, like you said, he's kind of a character, and I don't know if he was CEO, would he have to turn that down? Like
I would think a little bit. And you don't want like the Craig Federighi you get is the one you want.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's a blast to work with. Yet he still gets his teams to get things done, and all that stuff. Like his role is perfect for him. But there was a lot of him yesterday. It was almost too much. Okay. You can check out Macworld. There's a ton of stuff, and we have a ton more. I got so much editing to do this afternoon. There's a lot more coming. And next week, we will talk about Apple Watch and watchOS 27 because I got questions. And I'm going to pass it off to Roman for This Week in Apple History. So do you like that new intro, Roman? I've been working on that.
Nice segue. So, in Apple history on June 8th, 2009. So, that's 17 years from yesterday.
Yeah.
That's good.
Apple.
You didn't need Siri to do that math. Good job.
Yeah, I'm getting better at the math in my head. Apple announced at WWDC 2009 back then, OS 10 Snow Leopard, and it's Bertrand Soleil did a presentation of it because at the time he was the vice president of software engineering. And there was a slide, it was famous for the slide that came up that said 0 new features.
Yeah.
Right. Like as a point of pride, which as I recall later as the software came out, people said, well, no, there's like 30 new features. Like they're little things, but like there was new stuff, but that wasn't the focus. The focus wasn't new stuff.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of cheekiness that Apple was back then, that they would proudly big slides, 0 new features, you know. And I found that's appropriate because that's our Apple history, because this is the first time since then that they've really spent a lot of time basically going, look at all the stuff we fixed.
Right.
All your requests, all the technical problems, all the speed up, all the thing. It was very Snow Leopard-like. Then they also did all the AI stuff on top.
Yeah.
Right. There's still new stuff, but it's very much a maintenance release.
Yeah.
So
Roman, am I correct in remembering that it was only $20 versus $129 for the like leopard and lion and stuff? Or am I misremembering that?
Actually, I didn't confirm that, but that sounds correct to me. Yes.
As I recall, that was the beginning of OSs being cheaper before they just became free.
Free, yeah. So it was $29. Snow Leopard was $29, and according to Wikipedia, which I'm not going to fact check at the moment, it says initial sales were significantly higher than its predecessors, which had prices starting at $129.
Right, but I think after that, after Snow Leopard, didn't we have like a run of like $40 updates and stuff? If I recall, it was something like that. They never went back to charging $129.
Right.
And then they eventually just said, you know what? We charge you for the hardware.
Yeah.
So macOS Lion, which came out next,
right.
I thought it was before, I was wrong. $29.99. And it was the first available exclusively as a download from the Mac App Store. If you wanted a USB flash drive, which they started taking orders a couple months later, it was $70.
You could get it shipped on a flash drive because it was too big to fit on a CD.
Yeah.
And they weren't doing software on DVDs and having DVD players for everything and all that. And also, I think they had started shipping some computers that didn't have CD drives.
Were you at that
event? Do you remember?
That one I was not at. I don't remember. Yeah. Now I'm just filling air as you guys are looking up stuff. For people who don't remember, Snow Leopard was an upgrade to Leopard.
Right.
And Leopard was a little flaky, so that's why they came out with Snow Leopard.
I got all the answers. You can stop vamping.
All right.
Mountain Lion was the last paid upgrade for OS 10. Mavericks that came out a year later in 2016? No, 2013 was free, and everything's been free since then.
Everything's been free. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And
it was $20. That's what I got that confused. So sorry, Jason. Mountain Lion was $20.
Right.
Snow Leopard was, what we say, 30, 40?
29?
I forgot already. It was like 45 seconds ago.
And then how much was Lion?
Lion was,
39.
I just said, right. I think I just said that. I don't remember.
Right.
$40.
Because it was Snow Leopard, Lion, Mountain Lion, and then with Mavericks, it started being free.
Yeah, so the last that was $129 was Leopard, and the last that was paid at all was Mountain Lion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the easy way to keep it in your head is when they switched from animals to landmarks, to California landmarks is when it got free.
There you go.
But also the prices changed over time. We have on Macworld like a whole version history of macOS stuff. We should add this pricing stuff to that.
Yeah.
because it's a pain to look up, and I'd rather just go to our site and have it in there.
For the 14 people who care about it.
Yeah.
I care.
Well, you're one of them. I guess I am too. So there's 12 others. It's hard to believe we used to spend $129 every year on.
Yeah, most people. Well, that's the thing. Most people didn't. Most people only upgraded their OS That's part of why they started making them cheap and then free. Is they're like, we really need people to upgrade, and it's hard to convince people to spend all this money, money to upgrade.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on to Comment Corner?
Yeah,
sure.
All right. So, Comment Corner, we've got 3 comments about the new Siri, the voice. Jason did a video short about the new voice of Siri.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 comments on that I picked out. Fajito Bonito on TikTok said that it's way better than Alexa's new trash AI voice. I haven't heard it. Have you guys heard Alexa?
I have some Fire Cube thing that I never use, but it got updated to the Alexa Plus. And I asked it a question at some point in the last few months, and it answered like, "Whoa, like that's a new voice for you, Alexa." And it was all right. It wasn't bad.
I don't like any Alexa anything, so you're never going to hear me say anything good about Alexa. All right.
Wow. I feel like there's a backstory there, but we don't have anywhere near the time to get into it.
Altruistic Viking via YouTube said the best thing is the ability to ditch the American voice.
You've been able to do that for a long time.
Yeah.
That's not a new Siri thing. Come on.
So, a couple years ago, year and a half ago, when I went to South Africa, I switched my Siri voice to the South African accent, and I haven't changed it since because I liked it. So.
It's cool. The Irish one's really cool. Yeah. There's a couple like that. And then even within, say, American English, there's 5 or 6 different voices that have sort of one's more masculine, one's feminine. There's like a sort of an agender one. There's, several different voices to pick from. But you've been able to choose like a totally different English Siri voice. Even if you're just in English, you can do a Scottish English, or you can do a UK English. The British one is fun because it makes it sound like it's a butler or something.
I have the same, like the original voice on my phone. I never changed it. But in my car, I have this, like, she's almost like sarcastic. Like she gets like upset when I ask her like directions somewhere. She's like, "Where do you want to go?" And I don't know how I got it. I don't know how to get rid of it, but she's very annoyed when I ask her to do something.
Wow. That is unusual. This is just with like Apple Maps?
It's just with the CarPlay. It's a totally different voice. And like I said, she's very irritated when she has to do something. Like if you
use a different app, it could be a different voice. Because if you're using Waze,
no, this is it's Apple Maps. No, it's all Apple Maps.
I've never heard that. That's unusual.
Yeah, it's like a younger millennial voice.
It's got to be in the CarPlay settings. There has to be a CarPlay settings.
We leave it on because we all laugh. It's it's hilarious because like I'm almost afraid to ask for directions because I don't know how she's going to react.
Our last comment comes from Dom L via email, and I have a language warning here. So Dom L said via email, my main take.
Hold on, baby. Wait, hold on. He sent you an email? Or this is from the TikTok?
In response to Siri AI during the WWDC demo. Here, I'll try and do Dom L justice. And I'm going to read it as he wrote it. I didn't make any editorial changes.
I can't wait.
Dom L says, my main takeout was Siri for really lazy fuckers who have no idea. Hey, ask Siri AI. Literally no features that benefit someone who is not a moron. And then I saw that no photo is ever going to be true again. Siri AI, thank you. Why give a shit? And for all this, and for this, the world burns. One data center for Anthropic. They are trying to pitch is the equivalent of all households in Australia's energy draw. That's from Dom. It sounds like he's from Australia. So I can't do an Australian accent. So I didn't do that.
I would love to hear you try. Do you know this guy?
I do not know this guy.
What made him think of you while he was watching this?
I don't know.
Well, did you send it to you or to the podcast account?
It's addressed to me. Okay. So he probably just looked for the first email address he found on Macworld. And
what do you think of us for? Like, we're not doing anything.
Well, we always tell people to mail us for this very purpose.
I think
so. Maybe he's heard the podcast and he's like, you know what? I'm going to let Roman at Macworld know about this.
Right. He wanted to vent, and he just said, I'm going to vent at Roman. So, which is fine.
It's fine.
This is something to read.
We ask you for this kind of feedback all the time.
No, I'm not upset. I'm just interested as to what propelled this guy to email Roman with these very specific complaints.
Because he's the producer of the podcast, and he wanted to get on Comment Corner,
it's not
and
directed
he did.
at me. It's commentary. So and Jason's covered this before in an article he's written. There is, there are a lot of people who are not happy about AI, whether it's the technology itself or how the technology is being executed, the infrastructure, things like that. I was listening to a podcast on the way here about the data centers that are being built and the resources that they're using and a lot of the deception that they're doing to get them built.
Oh yeah.
So
because once they're built, what are you going to do?
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so a lot of people are not happy about AI, and covering AI myself, I feel a little conflicted because I'm excited about the technology, but I also know that there's some bad stuff going on behind it. So.
Yeah, I meant to ask Jason while he was talking about the photo stuff, and I forgot. But we can, if you can give me like a 2-minute answer, like philosophically, the photo features, the resize and the reframe and the stuff.
Yeah,
like how do you feel about the ability to easily do that with like one touch on your phone? Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing built into it that lets you like completely fake an image.
Right.
Like you can get a bit of a different angle or you can widen it and then the edges are all made up. When you do either of those things, it's drawing in fake background or fake extra side. I think compared to tools that are out there on the internet now that can make completely fake images or insert people into images and stuff like that, that are really, really realistic. Like really, they're fooling people, unfortunately. Like even if you're pretty good at spotting these things, like your grandma's like, I can't believe that happened, So those are problems. They are supporting, Google has that sort of metadata and watermark kind of thing for AI images. And Apple's old system didn't use it. They used their own kind of watermark. Now they're using the one that Google's sort of the proponent of, that everyone's kind of, no. It's not, that's a visible human thing you see. There's metadata built into the image that is not seeable by the human eye that lets other tools easily know this was an AI generated thing. Because you can just crop out the little right? So Apple's supporting that. They're using that. But there is this very real thing that's been going on for years now that like, what even is a photo anymore? Because even before you could move the camera around or expand the view or something like that, what you're getting out of your phone is fake. Like it's been fake. Like those aren't they take like 20 shots and then AI the crap out of it to make it detailed or the colors right or whatever. And we've all seen places where it gets it wrong. We've all seen these examples where it's like, here's what it really looked like. And it made this thing have this color because, so what you can't trust anything anymore. Like, I don't even know. And I don't think that's just an Apple problem.
For sure.
At least they're sort of building in this like sort of metadata to make it obvious when something's been AI doctored. I find it interesting that like the cleanup tool's been around for a long time now, a couple of years, and there just because it wasn't the same rancor about that. But now that you can adjust the angle or you can widen the view, and it's obvious that it's drawing a different set of fake pixels to make it happen, then that's like a real. So, yeah, I don't know.
I think the cleanup stuff, anyone with like rudimentary Photoshop skills could do that. But picking up an object and like turning it and then putting it like that's more advanced AI stuff. Yeah.
But each just as fake. Like that is not what happened in reality.
Right.
That is not what was there. Right. Yeah. So this whole like photos aren't photos anymore is a real thing. And it kind of disturbs me as somebody who was into photography and likes shooting with my DSLR and stuff like that. It bothers me how like nothing's real. Even basic non-edited pictures aren't real. They've gone through this pipeline of AI and everything. And it's,
that's an interesting point about just smartphone photography in general. Like I remember when iPhone 6 introduced portrait mode, like even like we were amazed, but it's looking at the edges, drawing stuff. It's piecing together 5 different images into one. And, so this was kind of the evolution.
There's that whole Samsung debacle of like they were faking moon pictures.
Oh,
the moon. Right? Because so many people take a picture of their moon with their camera, with their phone camera, and that does not work. So they're like, well, we're just going to kind of stamp and blend on with AI because the same side of the moon's always facing you, like the details of the moon, and like everyone will be impressed at how good the photo is. It's like, but that didn't happen.
Right.
So
it's true.
Yeah. And this stuff's been going on. It's going to get worse, but hopefully what we get is we get good tools, for these things to be marked as this was generated through one way or another and significantly altered so that we don't get fooled for important news events and stuff like that.
Right.
And that does it for Comment Corner.
All right. I'm going to skip all this because I'm so tired. But that does it for this episode of the Macworld Podcast. This was really long. On top of a long day and a long other day. And it's Tuesday. It feels like it should be Thursday.
I know.
But that does it for this episode of the Macworld Podcast, episode number 987. Jason told me before the show we were talking, he's like, make sure you go to your outro and fix everything. And I did. So I know it's 987. Okay. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roman.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. If you've made it this far, I salute you. Because I checked out like 30 minutes ago.
Yes. Thank you, and I'm sorry.
You can subscribe to the Macworld Podcast in the podcast app on Spotify, YouTube at the Macworld Podcast channel, or through any other podcast app. If you have any comments or questions, contact us through Blue Sky, Facebook, or Threads. Search for Macworld, look for the Blue Mouse logo. Comment under a video, comment under a post, send us an email at macworld@podcast. Podcast at macworld.com. And, or send us an email or whatever. Sorry, Roman just sent me a message and I was wondering why.
Oh, sorry.
I get distracted. Join us in the next episode of the Macworld Podcast as we talk about we're going to talk about Apple Watch and WatchOS 27 because we didn't get to that today.
Right.
See you next time.
Okay.
Hey, hold on. I lost my headphones. I hate these things.
Also, take a look at your script and make sure it's got the right number and doesn't say Thanksgiving stuff or whatever. Now's the time to.
It says WWDC26, not
24
or
whatever. Something. Or it says that now we have video, whatever. You know,
that
go fix it right now.